Hello, hello, hello. It is Friday, which means it is time for pop up coaching, for live coaching, just to answer your questions. So, as always, I'm going to tell you a little bit how this works, and then we're just going to get started. If we've not met before, my name's Megan, and I'm a life coach. I help women who have big goals and lots of great ideas and really amazing jobs, and they're making progress, and they're doing all the things, and they still feel anxious, and it makes them stuck. It makes them question themselves. It makes them pull back. It makes them overthink. It makes them have to run to the bathroom because they always feel like, oh my God, it's too much and I have to go calm down. And I'm going to help you learn how to regulate your nervous system, how to let that anxiety be there, which probably seems like the exact opposite thing that you want, so that it goes away faster. Because really, once you stop fighting it, once you learn how to let it be there and what it's actually trying to tell you, then it goes away on its own and it doesn't have to be a problem. If you want to hear more, message me. But for right now, let's talk about how group coaching works and what we're going to do today. If you want to be coached today, it's really super simple. All you have to do is go to the chat, and you can either give me like the little raised hand emoji, or you can just say me, or say, I have something I want coached on. If you're ready to be coached, we're going to do it right here live. I do this every Friday. I will tell you, I will give you a heads up that starting next Friday, we're going to have to move the time. I have a client that's starting with me that's going to be at this time slot. So I'm just going to move it to 1 o'clock instead. And I will post that in the group so that we don't forget, but it will be an option, of course, going forward. We'll just do it at 1 o'clock instead of 11:30, but still over there. Hey, Caitlin, it's so good to see you. So yes, next week we're going to start moving this to 1 o'clock Eastern time, just because I do have a new client starting at 11:30, but it will still be here. It's not going away. We just have to adjust a little bit, which we learned that in elementary school, right? Flexibility is a life skill. I almost said life school. No, it is a life skill. So we are going to go ahead and jump in. Caitlin's here. You can jump into chat with her and say hello. I love it when she stops by. She brings some good things to get coached on sometimes. And so if that's something that you want, go ahead and post in there that I want to get coached. And if nobody has anything they want coached on, then we're going to talk about something that I have planned out to talk about. I always try and be ready if nobody wants to be coached, because I do know that showing up here and being vulnerable and telling people, like airing your dirty laundry on Facebook, it's kind of a big deal. It can be really uncomfortable to talk about the things that make you feel anxious. But here's what I've learned. The more that I coach and the more people who I talk to, and I've been doing this for a while now, and really talking with people very, very openly about my experience growing up with really bad disordered anxiety, I'm still floored with the things that people tell me. Yeah, I have this thought, and I'm like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. I still think I'm the only one that ever had these thoughts. It's been like years of me over and over saying, no way, you thought that too? You think that too? I thought it was just me. It's not just you. It's just your brain's way of also making you feel isolated and alone and trying to protect you. It's never just you. Okay? So today's a struggle for sure. What do you, Caitlin is overwhelmed. Caitlin, do you want coached? I don't want to ever coach anyone without their permission, because I know that it requires some participation, and I don't want to pounce on you like a hawk or I don't know, a turkey vulture. Okay, Caitlin. Caitlin feels overwhelmed. Caitlin, what's going on? Tell me what's going on right now. So this is how it works. If you don't know how this works, you can kind of follow along in chat. Caitlin's going to post what's going on. I'm going to respond to her chat. And at some point, if anybody ever feels super brave and they want to come on and go live with me, I will figure out how to add somebody to the live stream. I don't know if I know how to do that right now. Yeah, for sure. So Caitlin says, maybe this will calm me down some. So tell me a little bit, Caitlin, about what has you feeling overwhelmed today. She said, today's struggle, I feel really overwhelmed. Tell me what has you feeling overwhelmed. So Caitlin's going to type in the chat. I'm going to read what she types, and then I am going to help her out that way. And we're going to talk about feeling overwhelmed. And I'm going to write this down while I go, because it's going to help me type description later. So feeling overwhelmed. So when Caitlin tells me what it is, like as she types, once she there's like that lag in between, right? So once we know what's going on, I'm going to say, okay, she feels overwhelmed. Let's figure out what's going on in her life, because we always have things going on in our life that we have thoughts about, that we feel things about, and it really creates our reaction. So for anxiety in particular, it's whatever you're thinking that's making you feel anxious. And it might just be what you think about the way your body feels. It's okay. We can work through all of that. That's part of what I do when I'm coaching somebody. So we're going to kind of go through that right now with Caitlin in the chat. I keep pointing this way because the chat is on the spread of my screen. So she said, my 4-year-old is bossy. It's a bossy mess today, demanding and trying to, or my 4-year-old is bossy as mess today, demanding, trying to clean up the house because I haven't felt well this week. So I've abandoned the house, and it's weird, but my neighbor's dog is in heat. So my dog is barking like crazy and won't stop because he wants to have friends. He wants your dog to go over. So you're trying to clean up the house. Your 4-year-old is being bossy and making messes, and she's being demanding. And your dog is like trying to hook up with the neighbor's dog, which I can picture this like in my head with the dogs like, hey, come here. And your dog's like, she won't let me out. So all of this is going on. All right. And let's just pause right here. Let's take a big exhale first. Before we do anything else, let's just like, because that's a lot, right? All those. Yeah, you're right, Caitlin. It's a lot of small things, but they add up. And sometimes when you're in this place where it's like, okay, I have this thought about I've abandoned the house for the week. So one of the things that you're thinking is I've abandoned the house. And I'm just curious, what does that mean for you? I've abandoned the house. For some people, that means I left and I didn't come back. Some people, that means I always put the dishes in the sink or in the dishwasher at night before bed and I didn't do it last night. Other people's like, no, you don't understand. Like I didn't do anything. Like I left food scraps and empty pizza boxes on the coffee table. Abandon the house is always just a circumstance that can mean something different for everybody. But for Caitlin, it means I haven't cleaned or done anything this week. I haven't cleaned and I haven't done anything. Okay. So when you think about I haven't cleaned and I haven't done anything this week, how do you feel about not cleaning or do anything this week? I'm writing this down. Okay. So we're going to look at the other thoughts that are underneath that feeling of overwhelmed, because I haven't cleaned or done anything this week is a thought. It might be a fact, but it's what you think about that. So the thought is I haven't done this. So I feel lazy and guilty. Good noticing. So when I think I haven't done or I haven't cleaned or done anything this week, it makes me feel lazy and guilty. Okay, so when you feel lazy and guilty, when I feel lazy and guilty, what do you do when you feel lazy and guilty? Like, what's your reaction? Everybody has different reactions. Some people feel lazy and guilty and it puts them into a freeze response where they're like, well, then I guess I'm not going to do anything because I'm lazy and guilty. And other people go into like a massive action and then they are like frantically running around screaming and then they're frustrated and it builds. Other people have other reactions. So what do you do when you feel lazy and guilty? And remember, lazy and guilty are feelings, but they come from the thought that I haven't cleaned or done anything this week, or the thought that I've abandoned the house. I've abandoned the house because I haven't cleaned. The circumstance is actually that I haven't cleaned or done anything this week, right? Some people would be like, yeah, I didn't clean or do anything this week. It was amazing. But right now it's making you feel lazy and guilty, which means that you are frantically cleaning, like rage cleaning, okay? Frantically cleaning. Why? I'm frantically cleaning. I haven't done it all week. So why are you frantically cleaning? Like, what do you get out of that? What if I frantically clean, what happens? I mean, yes, your house will be cleaner, but what else? What else? So we want to look at, I haven't cleaned all week. And I think that I haven't cleaned. So I feel overwhelmed. I feel guilty and all that. So I frantically clean because I can't stand the mess and it makes me feel better later because the house is clean. Yeah. So when you're frantically cleaning, while you're frantically cleaning, does it feel good? It blocks out on my emotions and my ability to think. Maybe. That's really good noticing, because if I'm frantically cleaning, I'm not focusing on how I actually feel, which is overwhelmed or guilty or lazy. One of those things, right? So, what do you feel guilty about? Like, if you go into that feeling of guilt, I feel guilty for what? I'm curious about, like, because we have three different thoughts here or three different feelings, and I wonder if they all go back to that same thought of I feel guilty because I didn't clean, or I feel lazy because I didn't clean, or does that go back to something else? Like, I feel guilty because what do you think should have happened? Yeah, I feel guilty for just laying around, but I'm gonna scroll back up. You ready? I didn't feel well this week, so I laid around. So I didn't feel well and I laid around. My guess is that you have thought about that. What do you think you should have been doing if you didn't feel well? So some people when they're sick are really good about, like, some people will say I don't feel good and I get up and move. Other people when they don't feel well, we all have different tolerance levels of how we feel, right? Some people handle pain better, some people handle sickness better, some people just don't, and that's okay. But it's what you think about laying around. And Caitlin said, I'm so used to still doing what I need to do, but I don't feel well. But being 19 weeks pregnant makes that hard. It does. You're growing a human. That's kind of an important job. So you gave yourself some time to rest today because you didn't feel well. I didn't feel well and I rested, and now I feel guilty because I rested. Okay, so just notice that it's the thought that I feel guilty. It's the thought about I didn't feel well and I'm used to doing what I need to do, but it makes it hard. So I think something about laying around, which makes me feel guilty, which means I'm going to get up and rage clean. So it's all going back to I have thoughts about what I think I should have been doing, or what's okay or what's not. Those are the thoughts that are making you feel that. And the overwhelm is really coming from, I'm guessing it's coming from, and correct me if I'm wrong, now I have all these things that I have to do. I feel overwhelmed because I'm trying to get the house clean. I'm trying to get everything done. So I'm going to ask you, Caitlin, if you feel overwhelmed by your house right now, how would you rather feel about cleaning the house and playing catch up today? Because you can choose how you want to feel. Okay? Yeah. Caitlin says, yep. So how would you rather feel about cleaning the house and about getting things done? I know it might seem silly, but you really can choose how you feel about things. And that doesn't mean that, we don't want to put on that whole fake toxic positivity thing. I'm not saying but you should love cleaning. No, some people just don't love it. That's okay. For me, it's a huge stress reliever. For other people, it's a huge stress inducer. But you can choose how you feel about it. And I'm going to show you how to do that. This is what I do when I work with people. So I'd rather slowly clean it, take my time and enjoy it than feel like I have to rush. Perfect. So I would rather feel like I can take my time. So I'd rather take my time and enjoy it. Why do you think you have to rush? What makes you feel like you have to rush? I love to clean too. There's something really satisfying about carpet swipes with the vacuum. I'm like, yeah, look at that. That's amazing. Do you see how much dust I got off my tables today? That's incredible. But the real joy comes from getting the wet vac out and sucking the dirt out of your carpet so that the mud comes out and you're like, this is amazing. That muddy water is disgusting and I love it. So Caitlin says she loves to clean. Maybe that makes sense to you. I know I'm not the only weirdo out there, because I have talked to people before and they're like, isn't that the best when you like deep clean your carpet and you see how much disgusting crap you got out of it? So because of the bossy 4-year-old, the quicker I get it done, the quicker I can focus on what she needs and wants. Okay, so bossy 4-year-old is calling the shots here. Bossy 4-year-old says, Mom, hurry it up. I have things that I need and want. And so Caitlin says, I have to hurry because Miss Bossy Pants over here is telling me to hurry. How can you how can you help her be patient and also be able to take your time and worry so that she's happy? Like, what does she want? What does she really want from you? Like, does she want to go outside? Does she want snacks? Does she want to snuggle on the couch? What does she want? Because for sure, 4-year-olds, especially cute ones that are sweet and snuggly most of the time when they're not being bossy, they're kind of irresistible sometimes. And sometimes that's hard to say no to. What does she want? She wants to go outside and play. Of course she does. It's been really, really beautiful at my house until this morning. We've had a lot of rain this morning, but it's springtime and she wants to go outside and play. Okay. So what has to be done before she can go outside and play? Is there anything that you feel like you have to knock out before she goes outside to play? So if we can take this, oh, it's 90 degrees there. Okay. See, 90 degrees to me is like perfect. Like I'm 85 to 90 girl. It's what, 70 something? Oh, it's 67 here right now. So I'm kind of like bundled up because I'm cold all the time. But so she wants to go outside. It's 90 degrees and you're 19 weeks pregnant. So that's like a whole different thing. But in order for you to get what you want and for her to get what she wants, you guys can both have it here. Okay. So you want to be able to clean and do it a little bit at a time. And she wants to go outside. So we've got floors mopped, laundry switched, and beds made. Then I'm good to go. Okay. Does that mean you have to have everything done and then she goes out? Or is there leeway to manipulate this? Like, is there leeway to make her happy and you happy? Because we can think creatively so this is less overwhelming for you and less anger inducing for her because she's impatient too. She says, no, I'll go outside, Mom. It's nice. Every time I do anything live, I get a notice that my internet is down and it's not down. So I hope you can still see me. So yeah, so I have 3 things. I have to mop the floor, switch the laundry, and make the beds. And then I'm ready to go. But daughter is saying, snip, snap, the sun is up and I want to go outside. So yeah, I can mop and then bring her out and run in the lawn to check on the laundry in between. Okay. Is that something that you're comfortable doing? Like for me, I live in the country. I have a big, huge backyard. I don't have a pond. I don't have anything like that. So my kids, I'm like, out, go outside and play when they were little. I could see them from the backyard. So it was easy for me to go do laundry. Does that feel good to you? So if that feels good to you, where you could mop and then take her outside, and then you would just come back in to check your laundry in between. Laundry is kind of one of those things that's the forever process, isn't it? Like it takes an hour to wash it and like 45 minutes to dry it, and that's an hour and 45 minutes, and then you got to switch it, and it's another hour and 45. So I like this that we're creating some space in there. So I have a huge yard, and you have a dirt road with no traffic. Perfect. So if she could potentially, yeah. And it's like if you're wearing clothes, it's never done. So unless everyone in your house is naked, there's always more laundry. It's mind blowing, isn't it? Like it's never going to be done unless everyone's naked. So laundry isn't just like one of those things like mop, right? It's something that has to go, but you can be happy and still get your things done. And she can get her way too. And let's just make sure that everyone feels good about that. Is she happy? If you say, hey, what if you go outside and, go outside and see if you can find some wildflowers, or go outside and I want you to, count or see what kind of animals you can see in the clouds. Something like that can keep her busy, or give her a ball, give her a jump rope, give her sidewalk chalk, something like that to keep her busy. And then you have an opportunity to come in, switch the laundry, and then what? So I can mop, send her out. She can play. I can switch the laundry. Then what? What has to happen then to help you feel less overwhelmed? So sometimes when we have a lot of things that need to get done, what can happen inside of our brains, especially when they're not, yeah, then you can breathe. What can happen when we look at this list of, I have these things I need to do, I have these things that need to be done, but I have this other thing that also needs my attention over here. I feel very overwhelmed because it feels like there's so much on my plate at once. And when we bring into feelings like guilt or like feeling lazy and things like that, that judgment that we have on ourselves that I'm lazy makes us be lazy, or I feel guilty makes me think I'm never going to get my stuff done because I'm just going to go outside with my daughter. But if we can take a step back and say, oh, what I really feel is lazy and what I really feel is guilt, and I'm not lazy, I'm just 19 weeks pregnant with a 4-year old and I didn't feel well. And I don't need to feel guilty because I'm going to get everything done and I'm going to take her outside to play. I'm going to get the house clean and I even get to enjoy it. That opens up space inside your brain to be like, oh, wait a minute. I have options. So what we want to do is we want to take those emotions and just notice what they are. So we start by finding the thought that we have about the situation or about ourselves and we say, now what does that make me feel? Okay, so I feel lazy and guilty because I think I should be doing these things. And once we do that, then our brain's like, oh yeah, that's 3 things. We could do 3 things, right? I need a mop, I need to do the laundry, and I can't remember what you said the other one. Yeah, I need to mop, I need to do the laundry, and I may need to like make the beds. Okay. You can do those in whatever order you want. And it's really just opening your brain up enough to say, oh, wait, that's not a 12-hour task, right? This is like a mop. She can go outside and play. She can do sidewalk chalk right outside the back house, outside the back of the house while I switch the laundry over. And then I can come back outside with her and she's still happy and I'm out there with her. So I get to play a little bit. And then I can come back in and I can switch the laundry again and I can come back out. I've got lots of time and it lets you let go of that feeling of being overwhelmed, a feeling like you have to hurry up, a feeling like you're lazy because you're getting a ton of stuff done and you're enjoying it while you do it because you like to clean and your house is going to be clean when you're done. She's going to be happy. And I don't know what to tell you about your dog other than, I guess, if you are, let's see, dude, I don't know if you said if your dog was a boy or a girl, but I mean, unless you want like a baby and puppies at the same time, I don't really think you should let your dog out. I kind of forgot what that was like. We've always gotten our dogs like fixed, spayed or neutered before they like went into heat. But one of our dogs, they said that she had to go through a heat cycle before we could have her spayed. Never, ever, ever will I do that again. Never. She whined the whole time. It was disgusting. And I'm like, she was a mastiff, and I'm like following her around and trying to put like I took my son was like 7, I think, and I took his underwear. Oh, Lord, a Chihuahua and a Husky. No, that would be something. I mean, I'm not sure that's going to work out for your dog either. But I remember taking my son's underwear and cutting a hole in the back so I could stick her tail through and trying to put like panty liners in his underwear and trying to keep them on our Mastiff while she was in heat. And it was awful. And he's like, try this pair, try this pair. The dog was like chewing them off of herself, like trying to rip them off. It was awful. Maybe a Chihuahua is more manageable. I don't know, but a Mastiff, and he is like crying and messy and just ridiculous. I can't solve that problem for you. I can maybe change what you think about it. Like maybe it's hilarious. It really is hilarious to think about a Chihuahua and a Husky. Honestly, that's like a circus kind of feat. I'm not sure. I would be cheering for your Chihuahua in that one because that would be like a leaping dog kind of situation. This just went downhill, a leaping dog situation. But that's not what we were talking about. We were talking about you feeling guilty for not cleaning the house. So if you can open up your brain, if you can open up your brain to what you're actually feeling, which was really just guilt and laziness, those are the things that are making you feel overwhelmed. I feel so guilty and I feel so lazy for not doing these things and for judging. That was funny. Like in my head, that was hilarious. For judging yourself for resting and growing a baby and taking care of a 4-year-old, which is a lot at once. So I'm glad, like, she said that this was very helpful. So, and she definitely gave me, or she said, this is so much. She said, I already feel so much better. And then she said her dog was a Chihuahua and the neighbor is a Husky, which made me start cracking up as I am actually thinking about the logistics of this. And then, yes, she definitely provided me a very good laugh today because, woo, that's a lot. That's a lot. So, Caitlin, do you feel less overwhelmed with the idea of being able to kind of not have it be an all or nothing situation where I'm either going to get this work done or play with my daughter? Does that feel better? Amazing. Good. Yes, for sure, she said. So I'm glad. That's really what. So, coaching is really just me helping you find your emotions, helping you figure out what you're thinking, and problem solving with you, and allowing you to come up with situations that will work for you. So, if I'm scrolling back here, why does it always do that? So, when Caitlin said that, she could let her go outside, I can mop and then I can bring her out. So, just notice that the solutions are really. I want you to trust that you know the right thing to do because you do. And really, you're already doing it almost all of the time, but sometimes we get into these situations where everything can feel overwhelming. For some people, that's every single day. Some people, it's like I am anxious all day because I'm always thinking about, what I have to get done at work and what I have to do at home and how am I going to be able to go in and ask for this thing that I want or that I need when I'm so self-conscious or when I'm so worked up about not doing the best at everything or, not being able to get everything done at once. So we have these thoughts about what's going on in our lives that make us feel very, very anxious. So my job is really to help you find the thoughts, really get clear on what you're actually feeling and saying about yourself, and then totally believing that you already have the solution. If you are making any progress at all, you're already on the right track. And I've said this before, there are so many really good pieces of advice out there. And everything has its place and everything can potentially work. But I also want to offer that the more time that you spend thinking about how anxious you are, the more anxious you're actually going to be, which I know seems backward. Like maybe I should give it some attention. There's a lot of schools of thoughts out there that will tell you you really need to get in tune with your inner child. You need to go in there and reparent yourself and just really give that inner child a lot of love and attention. And that's not my game. It's not that I don't believe that there's part of you that learned this. I absolutely believe that anxiety is a learned response that you probably picked up on some fluky thing when you were a kid, unless you had a really big T trauma. If you had something horrible that happened to you that you're like, no, I'll tell you exactly where this came from. I'm going to encourage you to talk to a therapist right now and really go back into your past and heal that past part of yourself. But if that's not your experience, if you're just one of those people like me that you're like, I don't know what happened, but somehow I just wound up feeling really anxious a lot of the time, you don't need to invest that much time, energy, or thought into your anxiety. And as a matter of fact, I would encourage you not to. I would encourage you to spend less time thinking about it and more time feeling it. If that doesn't make sense, I'll explain it to you. Let's just get on a call and I'll say, this is what I mean by that. Because I know that you might be like, why would I want to feel that? It feels terrible. And it does. It does feel terrible. But I'm going to encourage you to go there, to really let yourself feel it. Because when you can feel it, it's going to help you understand that the thoughts that you're thinking aren't true. And that's how we get to the bottom of what you're actually feeling. We're going to lower the anxiety and then be able to talk about the thoughts. Because if you're trying to think your way out of this, like I'm trying to think about all the things I need to do to get this done and make my daughter happy, and why did I lay around? It's too much and your brain won't do it, especially when you're feeling anxious. Okay. That's really what I can do and help you with on a consultation call is just get clear on what do you actually want? What are you doing now that's working? What's going to help you to help those things work even better. And let's get you to a place where you're really like, hey, I just don't want to feel overwhelmed so often. I'm so tired of overthinking every single thing that I do at work. I just wish that I could get myself organized. I wish I felt confident, whatever your goal is. And everybody's got different goals. They're all specific to whatever you want. Let's go there. Okay. It's super simple. You can message me wherever you're watching this video. I'll probably put it on YouTube or I'll probably put it on in these other places. And so that everybody can hopefully get the help that they need. Message me. I'm on social media. You can get on my website. It's CoachMeganDevito.com and you can connect with me there and just tell me, I really want to talk with you. I want to know what I have to do to get past this, because if I can do it, you can totally do it. All right, you guys. It was great being here. And as a reminder, again, I do this every Friday, but next week I'm going to move it to 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time because I do have a client spot that's going to be taken at this 11:30 time. So I'll still be here. It just won't be at 11:30. It'll be at 1, and we will still do live coaching. If you decide this week you have something you want coached on, it's so simple. You just message me and be like, my turn. I get this one. Come in and I will talk with you about it. All right. Take care. Have a really great weekend. I'll talk to you next week.